Okay, let's try this again. Welcome to the Elevated Life series, where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. And today's topic is all about your happiness. And we're going to share 4 things that might block you from that joy. So if you're here, say hello, leave a comment. Let's make sure that the technology's working today. I think we're right, we're straight, we're not sideways, and all should be well. So say hello if you're here live and tag someone that might need this inspired message. Guys, we made the shirt 100% inspired from, if you caught one of our previous live teachings, that we ended up coming up with this word inspired. So now we have the shirt. Ann says we're all good on technical difficulties and all that is over. I think retrograde is coming up, guys.
Craziness.
So let's dive in. Happiness is one of the highest vibrating emotions. It puts you in a state of bliss and joy and love and thankfulness and compassion. So happiness is always what people are saying they want more of. And the truth is, you can create your joy. Happiness is a choice. And today we're going to share with you 4 ways that you're choosing not to be happy.
Yeah, happiness, like Britt said, is a state. And so you can choose happiness. That's just a choice. And so when you're not feeling happy, again, that's a choice that you're either consciously or unconsciously making. So doing these 4 things is going to help you kind of pull out of that mindset of like, man, why do I feel like crap all the time? Well, this could definitely be this could be some of them for sure.
Yeah, so the first thing that's going to block your happiness, and this one is so powerful. This is going to block you from everything. That's self-hatred. Remember, self-love is called self-love because only you can give it to you. So you're the only one giving you that hate when you're talking negative about yourself, or you're saying I'm not good enough, or you guys know my story. My story was I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. And so I was blocking off my own joy and happiness and the love for my body, which we should all love our bodies. We chose them. It's our vehicle for our soul. So the more we cut ourselves off from that, and the more we hate our bodies or the way that we look or the way that we sound, or whatever, the more that we hate ourselves, the more we block ourselves off from that love. And that is 100% connected to your happiness.
Yeah, we do so many things, but we forget that, we're the maker and creator of so much of our lives. And it all starts, like Britt said, with that kind of self-talk. And this is the basis and the foundation for everything. So, it's great. It can be great and it can be bad at the same time. The fact that you're stuck with you all of your life, like the one constant in your life is going to be you. And so when you start to get rid of that self-hatred and self-doubt and all those kind of negative limiting beliefs that you have, you're going to propel yourself into a different kind of future. And it's a future that you're taking responsibility for because you decided, hey, I'm going to nurture myself with the words and love that I personally need. Again, it's not on anyone else's shoulders. No one else can do this for you. Your spouse can't do it. Your mom can't do it. Nobody can. It's just you in this game. So definitely start building yourself up.
And that's freedom too.
Yeah.
And I've shared this quote before from Georgia O'Keeffe. She says, I've settled it for myself that all compliments and criticisms will go down the same drain, and I'm quite free. And that realization, that perspective, just looking at life from that lens, taught me that I don't need other people's criticisms just as much as I don't need their compliments. That a validation of myself is the most important, the way that I show up in a relationship to myself. So let me ask you guys this. I'm going to ask you to get a little personal or a little vulnerable. But when we talk about, stopping self-hate so that you can unblock the flow of joy and happiness, is there something right now that comes up for you when we talk about self-hate? Is there a phrase or a thought or a belief that automatically popped up for you when we said self-hatred? If there's something that comes up for you, I'd love for you to leave it in the comments, because as we claim it, as we become aware of it, I didn't even realize how mean I was to myself until I became aware, and I stated out loud, wow, every time I get dressed, I'm telling myself, I'm fat, I'm fat. So do you have the courage or the awareness to look within and find where you might be blocking yourself from that love? Because that ultimately is tied to your happiness.
And this can go in a lot of different ways too. It can be one of those things, well, I didn't grow up with wealthy families, so I won't be wealthy. Or I didn't get this kind of education, so I can't have the opportunities that these other people have. Or my genetic limits or my gifts or whatever don't align with this. And it's all nonsense that we tell ourselves. None of this stuff is true. Everything is possible for everybody. And so there are plenty of people, go read some stories. Go read about people who have literally no advantages at all in life, come from horrible backgrounds, they're way too short to do anything, they're not bright, learning disabilities, and they still succeed. So realize that, you can do that too.
And so she so needed this message today, and that her self-hatred sounds like, I'm not attractive anymore. And thank you for sharing. I know that it's personal and vulnerable, but the more we get comfortable with the uncomfortable, the easier it is for us to shift. So Anne, I invite you to do one thing for yourself that makes you feel more attractive. Maybe that's putting on some lipstick, or maybe that's brushing your hair, or putting on a nice outfit, and just walking around the house. You don't even have to go anywhere. Just do something that makes you feel more attractive. Maybe you put on just a different outfit or something like that. And that energy will begin to lift. You'll begin to step away from not feeling attractive anymore, and then it'll continue to grow and rise as you appreciate and start to fall back in love with your beautiful self. Oh my gosh, so many comments coming through, guys. Rebecca says, whenever I share thoughts, I always finish with, or maybe I'm crazy. Rebecca, I used to do that too, because for a long time, I would use it partially as a joke, but partially as like, is my psychic ability, like, is it for real? Like, do I really know this, or am I just crazy? So I totally relate to that, Rebecca, but I highly recommend that you drop that story, because you're going to convince yourself through repetition that you might feel crazy. And yeah, it does feel a little crazy, but it's kind of cool. So enjoy that.
Yeah, and saying things like that are really dismissive of your natural born gifts. And so what you're saying is like, I have all these great, wonderful talents, but I'm going to dismiss them by saying these things. So just leave that part of the sentence off and see how it feels to you, and see how the other person reacts when you don't say that. Just come out, say it, and then stop and pause.
Yeah.
And see how that feels.
Yeah, just give yourself that pause, like Chris said, so that you can just kind of sit in it and feel it. Claire says, I really don't like myself or my body at the moment. I've put on all the weight that I lost due to struggling with adrenal dysfunction and now chronic fatigue. I worked really hard to get healthy, and now I'm not. The message has cut off, but I understand where you're going with this. Claire, so there's something that's blocking your joy, because any kind of pain or any kind of emotional trauma, or these chronic fatigues or dysfunctions are saying that something's blocked energetically in the body. So Claire, let's find the root in where you have lost your love for yourself and your body. Go back to the time when you did love yourself and your body, because there was a time, and maybe it was when you were a little girl. I don't know, because from young ages now we're taught to hate our bodies and compare ourselves and judge ourselves. So go back, Claire, to a time where you did love your body and you loved yourself just in general, and then find where you stopped doing that, and then go back and reclaim that power.
Yeah, personalities and ways that we feel about ourselves and ways that we think about ourselves in the world are like t-shirts. And you can always take off the t-shirt you're currently wearing and put on a new one. So just try it out for a couple days. Try it out for this weekend. This is the perfect time to do it. Just say, for this weekend, I'm going to love the hell out of myself. I'm literally going to be my biggest cheerleader. I'm only going to say things that are amazing. And anyone who says anything that discounts how I'm currently feeling, I'm just going to completely ignore. And see how it feels. Again, this is just a t-shirt that you're wearing. If you felt one way before and you feel a different way now, you can always go back to the way you felt before, just by trying out a new way of talking to yourself, new way of feeling.
That's beautiful.
Did you see what Anne said just above this?
Anne says, my last pregnancy left my stomach torn and then surgery, and I haven't worked on mending it.
Okay, so look, this is a really, really big deal right here.
I have a pile of t-shirts to burn.
There you go, burn them, baby. So this is a huge deal, and I'll tell you, because this was something for me too. And I've been really heavy in my life, so I've been in the 270-pound category. And when I first met Britt, this happened the very first time that we met.
Oh yeah.
It was huge. So I have big stretch marks. I have stretch marks that anyone who's gained.
I could draw a map to Atlantis.
Yeah, I gained a lot of weight and lost a lot of weight. You get, it's one of those things. It just comes with stretch marks. And really, what it should be is you should realize it's your body's unbelievable ability to consistently change. If you've had a kid, if you've given birth to something, like, you're a miracle worker. I mean, you created a life. I can't do that. And so I have all these stretch marks, and I was telling Britt about the first day that we ever met.
No, you didn't even tell me. I just lifted your shirt up.
Lifted my shirt up. Okay, so this is a big deal. And I didn't go swimming. It was just weird because I have so many stretch marks. And then she looked at, she goes, oh my God, those are amazing. She goes, those are your tiger stripes. And when she said that, it blew my mind, because I'd been looking at it all and like, oh man, I was fat. This is horrible. But when she said that, I was like, holy smokes, what have I been telling myself for all this time? And then it was just that immediate shift for me. I've never thought about it again, literally don't care at all. And it's so big, so big.
Yeah, the things that you hate about yourself or that you're self-conscious about might be the thing that your partner freaking loves. I love your tiger stripes because I've got them too. I was 200 pounds as well. So our body shifts and morphs. And I look at those stripes and I think, damn, I'm proud of the work that I've done. I've come a long way. I'm no longer 200 pounds anymore, but I have those stretch marks to show the hard work and the love that I've given my body. Those stretch marks remind me of how much I do love myself because I didn't allow them, I didn't allow myself to stay in an unhealthy situation.
Yeah, it's a big shift. Yeah, big shift. Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah. So the next thing,
we're only on number 2, guys.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes it takes a while. The next deal that can block your happiness is trying to be perfect. And really what this ends up...
Power scars. I love that.
Yeah, what this really is, the trying to be perfect is a deal where we're trying to please other people. We're forgetting that, again, all the self-confidence, all the self-love, all these kind of things start inside you, and it is not external whatsoever.
Yeah, stop trying to hide your tiger stripes or your power scars.
They're yours. You got them. Show them, hey.
You're just... you're perfectly perfect with them. With or without them, it doesn't change who you are at a soul fundamental being. It's just a decoration that you're wearing. So wear it proudly and stop trying to be so perfect about it. My teeth need to be straight, my hair and this and that, and I have this little piece of roll and this and that. Who cares? Perfectionism is just a
disease.
It's a dis-ease which causes unhappiness, right? It blocks you from your joy. Perfectionism is made up, and it's a standard that you hold yourself to that someone else has put on you. Maybe you haven't risen to an occasion, or maybe you're trying to be as good as your brother, or maybe you're trying to live up to your father's expectations, or maybe you want your mother to approve of you, and you constantly beat yourself up because you're not perfect in their eyes. What if you were perfect in your eyes, and that's enough?
Yeah, just let it be there. Let the perfection lie in yourself. And realize that you're always striving towards excellence. You're never trying to be perfect. It's not going to happen. You're already great the way you are. Just strive for excellence. So just work on that improvement, constantly be improving. And that's an easy way that you show yourself, hey, I love my body. I love what I'm doing. I love that I'm here. I love that I'm able to share my gifts with other people. I'm going to appreciate myself today. I'm going to appreciate myself for the rest of my life. And you won't worry about perfection anymore. You're going to be as good as you are where you're at, and that's the way it is.
Rebecca and Lisa said, so needed this, got to catch you live, but they have to go. They'll catch the replay. So thank you for joining us, guys. So the third thing, which really ties into the perfectionism and where you probably picked it up, like why are you trying to be perfect in someone else's eyes? But the third thing that blocks you from your happiness is needing that validation from other people, is needing that approval, maybe from a parent, maybe from a spouse, maybe even from a boss. The moment you drop that need for others' approval and validation, just like Georgia O'Keeffe said, that's the moment you become free.
It's so true, and this is really the very true freedom, and that's not caring. It's not that, and it's really not that you don't care. It's that it doesn't matter. So if someone compliments you, or someone doesn't like your cool tiger stripes, or whatever the case is for you, let them do that. What is that really saying about them?
That they don't like something about them.
Yeah, if they're judging you based on how your body looks or what your current decisions are and things like that, well, who cares? My big thing is, look, if they're not sleeping with you or if they're not paying you money, their opinion doesn't matter. And you can take that to the bank. Listen. It doesn't matter. All these people want to have all these, judgments on you and criticism things. Just let them do it. Let them do it. Don't let it affect you. Stay still and centered, knowing that you love yourself, knowing that you're on this constant form of improvement, and then let it slide.
Yeah.
Let it, bye.
Exactly. Anne says, oh my God, thank you, Britt. You just triggered an aha about my childhood trauma. And Anne, I'm so glad that these sparks of memories are coming up for you so that you can let them go. Because the fourth thing that blocks your happiness is not being able to let go of the past, is carrying around that victim mentality for so long that, well, it's always going to be like this because this is how it was. Well, the truth is that it's not the truth, that you can change in this moment right now. You can drop the past. You can forgive whatever you need to forgive, whether it be yourself or the acts of other people, knowing that holding on to that anger and that pain and unforgiveness is not doing you any service, and it's not doing anything to them. You're not punishing them. You're only punishing yourself. So being able to let go of the past, the pain, the trauma, whatever it is, allows you that freedom and opens up that channel for you to find joy again, because you no longer carry those past pains that aren't happening now. They happened in the past. So, okay, it was painful for that moment. You don't need to replay it or drag it out any longer.
Yeah, it's the same way about if you go to a movie that you don't like, just get out of the seat and leave. You know, you don't have to stay there. It doesn't even matter. You pay your, what movies are $50 now, it seems like. So if you paid your $50 for the movie, get up, you leave. So what? You're $50 short.
Same if you're in a shitty relationship.
Yeah, look, you
get up and leave.
You can cut bait. So many people think they have to stick around for forever
because
in
they
every
made
situation.
A commitment. I coach women on this all the time. Well, I went ahead and married him because I said I would, or I made this commitment. All the while she knew she didn't want to be in that relationship and it wasn't right, but she was doing it out of guilt and obligation from other people's input. You need to be married. You're getting too old, blah, 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 blah. And it was the worst fit. I actually did a reading with her and said, hey, did you just have a big celebration? I see a celebration. She's like, no. She got married the week before. I mean, that is a clear sign that you're not with the right person. But she said, I made a commitment. I don't want to back out. So I told her to make a new commitment to uncommit.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as changing your t-shirt, like Chris said.
Yeah, the greatest part about the past is that it's over. And unless you want to repeat the past, that's the only reason to stay there. So if you're looking for a bigger, brighter future, if you're looking to step up and say, hey, what's the potential for me? What can I really do? If I took my foot off the brake pedal finally in my life by continuously looking in that rear view mirror, what if I just look forward instead? And what if I said, hey, I'll move forward and I'm going to take full responsibility for what I'm doing. I'm going to let everyone else's opinions die off, and I'm just going to go for what it is that I want. I mean, think about how different your life would be. It could be huge. It could be huge. So get out of that past. Get out of that needing people to validate you. Get out of the idea that you have to be perfect. It's not going to happen. And let go of any kind of self-hatred beliefs that you have. And also notice that when you tell yourself things that are a self-hatred way, when you say you're not good enough, or when you say you don't like things or whatever it is about yourself, notice whose voice that is that says that. Is it your own voice, or is it a critical parent, or is it a teacher, or is it an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever? Figure what that is, and then change it. Say, listen, this is how I feel about myself, and none of the things that anyone else says really matters. And notice how you feel. Notice how taking that responsibility feels. You finally can let go of all that worry about trying to people please and being a doormat for other people's opinions and stuff. So let it go.
Yeah. Let's tune into how you feel right now on a scale of 1 to 10. This is a great way to check in and then take responsibility for cranking up your happiness and your joy. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like not at all, 10 being like, I'm so happy. What are you right now? A 6, a 7, 8, 9, 10? Are you a 50? Where are you at? Are you a -5? I mean, it's okay. This is all about creating awareness so that you can make the change. So let's say you register at a 4 or a 5 today. Well, what can you do to bring the joy? How can you take an action that will fill you with something that you love? Maybe if you're sitting at a 4, then something that you love is playing with your dog and taking him on a walk. So go do that so that you can raise your vibration, you can raise your joy. Claire says she's at a 7. Claire also said carrying around a shit cart can be exhausting.
It's true. It's true.
It's so true. So let all of that go. Be free and know that happiness is a choice. And we'll recap the 4 things that block you from your happiness, which there are many more, but these are 4 powerful ones that we coach people day in and day out to stop doing. And that one is self-hatred, trying to be perfect, needing validation, and not being able to let go of the past. If you fall under any of those categories, just become aware of what that might be, and then have the courage to make a new choice, to drop the past today and move forward with that fearless freedom.
Yeah, and for you, and with the 6, remember, we're in that 7 or above club here. So, we know you're part of the club. So the big deal is to say, hey, what do I need to personally do to move myself up to that 7? How can I get to the 7? What do I need to do? Not where can I go find it somewhere else or anything like that.
What can I buy from Target?
What can I see? Well, if Target works. Dollar bin.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, so say what can I do to move myself one more notch up, and then do whatever that takes. Because again, you're with you all of your life. So make sure that you're living at that 7 space just so that you can be enjoying. I mean, we're here for a short period of time. Make sure you're enjoying it. Don't get lost in your head making images and stuff like that about your past or about the future or anything. Just get to a space where, hey, I'm at a 7. I'm going to run right here.
Yeah, 7 or above club.
Yeah.
Alicia says, thank you so much for this. I've been making lots of new choices recently, and this is helping me to see that I'm on the right track. I am so glad you're here. And they say when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and vice versa. So I'm glad that our paths have crossed. And if you're watching this video, know that you have the ability to crank up your joy. And you have that power, not just the ability, like it's your natural born power. And it happens the moment you decide. So just decide that today, no matter what happens, you're going to choose to be happy. Find the silver lining and close the gap between if you start to feel crazy or angry or mad or whatever, just notice that you feel that way and close the gap to coming back to joy, finding that silver lining on why do I feel angry, what's going on, and how can I shift that to see the positive in this situation.
7 or above club.
7 or above club. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the Elevated Life series, where we teach you simple mindset shifts to create radical transformation in your life. Guys, all it takes is a small shift. All you have to do is decide. So for this weekend, decide that no matter what happens, you're going to choose joy and allow that happiness to flow in and out of you freely.
Bang, bang. Have a great one, y'all. Love you guys.
Have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday for the Elevated Life series.
Bye.
Bye.